Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We are so excited to have Eliana Rubin here today to talk to us. Eliana, how are you?
I'm well and doing well. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here so early. Eliana's in LA, and we are so excited to have you be one of our honorees for the Women's Empowerment Awards. And with
Thank you
that, we'll get
for having
started.
me.
Great. So, what does women's empowerment mean to you, and how has it impacted your life's work and your future career?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think that women's empowerment is really important, specifically in Jewish spaces where historically men may have been the leaders of the communities. One of the things that I love about empowering women and making spaces more equitable is to represent the community in its leadership and in who holds the power just as much as that are in the congregation or those that are in the community. I think that reflection is really important, and seeing representation matters really deeply. Something relating to my career and life's work is I want to use my career and the leadership that I might have to make spaces inclusive and represented for all women, regardless of or inclusive of women of color and women with disabilities and LGBTQ plus women and women from marginalized communities. Um, just so that we recognize that there isn't one way that a woman looks or acts or is. Women can be any one type of person, and all of those types of women should be celebrated.
Yes. Oh, thank you so much. Very well said, and totally agree that um, the leadership should reflect how diverse a congregation is. And in order to continue making spaces more equitable, we need to see more diversity within the leadership and within the decision making. I
Yeah.
think that's really important, and clearly you are, doing that in your everyday life, which is incredible. Um, and our next question is, what is one of your proudest moments lifting up the voice of another who may not have had the platform to do so themselves?
Yeah. It isn't one specific moment. Part of my work is doing LGBTQ plus education through terms and topics in history to or with different communities. And some of the favorite communities that I've worked with are when I work with teens and when I work with youth. I think that it's really awesome to be able to have conversations with younger folks on LGBTQ plus topics, especially because there is a lot of anti-LGBTQ plus rhetoric and laws that are being put into place currently in 2022. I think that it's really important, kind of going back to what I was saying earlier, for youth to see someone that's a part of the LGBTQ plus community, to see a trans woman, a Jewish trans woman, living loud and proud and saying that it does get better, and being a living proof of that is something that makes me feel really proud to be able to use my resources and be able to use the experiences that I have been given for good.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I know it can be really rewarding to work with younger people, especially in seeing how their minds work. And I know, just even though I'm not so far off age wise, you can see that there's so much more progression now, I feel too, with how younger
Oh,
people think, and they have
yeah.
so many more opportunities of education, even through like things like TikTok and stuff. I think that they're so forward thinking in a way that I don't think has been as evident in generations past.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that something else to keep in mind is that it's not that the younger generations are suddenly appeal. There's not more members of the LGBTQ plus community that are existing because of younger generations. It's the fact that now the world has begun to make it safer to come out, to be able to express those parts of ourselves. And when I talk with members from generations that might be older than us, it's also empowering because it helps me to connect to people on a very different level than I would with folks younger than me. which makes me feel really good about the work that I'm doing and makes me feel proud to be an LGBTQ plus Jew.
Yeah. Great. Well, thank you so much for sharing. And obviously, we've touched on Jewish values, but more specifically, how have you found Jewish values and empowerment of others intersect? And do you have any, again, lived examples of when this has been true for you?
Yeah, absolutely. So within our Reformed Jewish community, within us as Jews, we do our best to live by our values, and sometimes that does mean directly empowering others, like having omets love, having courage to stand up for what we believe in, and for voicing those our stances. An example that came to mind was in a previous job that I held, we made positive change by adjusting the language that we use for our teen leaders, which historically has meant or has been madrachim, which is masculine plural, um, as a way to speak to the entire community. And I know that some communities have been starting to use the word madrachol, which is a more gender inclusive term that invites all genders of teens to be leaders. And using our Jewish values, such as the fact that we're a Kehila Kadosha, a holy community in this space, and the fact that we're all made B'Tselem Elohim in the image of God, was something that was a driving force in the change that we were making. We wanted to make sure that our Judaism was directly intertwining in the empowerment of those that we were working with.
Yeah, wow. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's such a good example of how important language is and how
Yes.
language is something that shouldn't be taken for granted and how um, tweaks like that, even if they seem small on some level, can have a really large impact because language is so important in making other people feel validated in their experiences and included in the space.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Next question is, how do you think your Jewish values influence your leadership style or the work that you do?
Yeah. So I'm a second year student at Hebrew Union College's Rio Her School of Education. I'm pursuing my master's of educational leadership with an expected graduation in May, which is exciting and scary in all of the best ways. And while at HUC, one of the first classes that I took in my first year had us explicitly focus in on our Jewish values and on our values and what we wanted to bring within our leadership, and knowing that they will change over time perhaps, but having that be one of the first things that I did within my time at HUC and within my time in the Jewish professional world full time was really useful for me because it allowed me to approach all of the work that I've done since then with my values in mind. By having those clear ideas of what I want to bring into my classroom, how I want to speak with my teachers, what I want to do when I am trying to make positive change in the world, I'm able to reflect upon my values and ask myself, is this work that I'm doing in alignment with what I hold true to my heart? And by keeping that in my heart and in my mind, I feel as though that I have been able to become more aligned and singular with the work that I do, while also recognizing that I'm a person and I'm changing over time, and my values have changed over time as well. But um, keeping my values in mind when creating my work and helping to lead others in communities has been really, really useful for me.
Oh, great. That's really amazing answer. And congratulations on your soon to be graduation. That's really exciting.
Thank you.
And I can see just from learning more about you that it definitely does impact your work. And I'm excited to keep watching what you do next and how it continues to flourish in that way.
Yeah.
So that basically concludes our interview, but I have one more question for you. It's a little bit more
Okay.
fun. When I sent your video around to the rest of the staff, everyone was commenting on how amazing your hair is, which I agree. And I think it's great. So my next and final question, perhaps the most important one, is
Hmm.
what is your like holy grail product? Like what's your secret? Tell me.
Oh my goodness. Okay, first of all, I love this question. In the majority of Jewish spaces that I'm in, my hair usually comes up in conversation, and I love talking about it. So thank you for asking. So I do something called the curly girl method, which is basically a series of soft rules that help folks with curly hair um, know how to take care of it, understand how to take care of it, what products to use, what ingredients are important. And even though it's called the curly girl method, it's for people of all genders. Today I used the Suave Ocean Breeze conditioner. And then I used, oh gosh, what did I use? I used a Cantu Curl activating cream. And then I've recently started to mix gel with mousse. Before it was just like a little bit of gel or a little bit of mousse, but today I tried both and it's been working great. So I used the, oh gosh, Garnier Fructis Pure Clean Gel and Herbal Essence Totally Twisted Mousse. I air dried for like 20 minutes, diffused for like 10 minutes, and now it's still drying. But that is my routine for today, and it changes often. And I'm happy to talk about this whenever anybody wants to.
Okay, amazing. I hope everyone got that all down. Um, yeah, I love it. I recently transitioned after straightening my hair for many years. You can't tell today,
Mm,
but I do have
mhm.
insanely curly hair. And I love talking tips with anyone because you can
Wow.
learn so much because everyone does things
Yes.
so differently.
Yeah, and everyone's curl pattern is different, and there's so many things within our individual hair and like where we live that affects the way that our hair looks. So, um, we could have a whole nother conversation on this if
Yes.
we.
Okay, cool. Great. Well, thank you so much for your time today
Yeah,
and
thank
for
you.
speaking with us and everyone who's on the live. Thank you for coming. To register for the Women's Empowerment Awards, we will put the link in the comments section. You can also scan the QR code on my Zoom background. And we are doing these interviews every week. So be sure to check back next Wednesday at 12 to hear from our next honoree. But once again, thank you, Eliana. It's been so nice getting
Thank
to
you so
talk
much
to you and
for having
getting
me.
to know you through this process.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Okay, thanks. Have a good rest of your day, everyone. Bye.